Hello and welcome back. Today I have a frequency counter and it is from Enertech Schlumberger and it is the 2712. There are three models. You have the 2710, the 2711 and this is the 2712. And I actually thought that it was German. I did saw a lot of French text on the front, but I bought it in eBay from France, and it is not that weird to find all your text in French if it is from France, because they just like to see that in their own language, like some of the German appliances also have. So it doesn't need to be that because you see French that it is French, but it turns out it is. And it is actually from 78, and but the company Schlumberger was started by two brothers in 1926, and one was called Marcel, which is French, but the other one was Kunrad, which makes it sound like it is German indeed, or it was German or German parents. But so it was a bit of a surprise. It's supposed to be working. But first I like to do a quick test, a look around, because it did make a noise, and I don't know if it is because of the shipping, so I don't want to fire it up immediately. So let's have a closer look, and then we open to see where the noise comes from. So here we have a closer look. It's not too much damaged. All the text is still there. As you can see, it's the 2712. The 2710 only has these two AB inputs, and it goes up to 120. If you have the 11, the 2711, you have also the C channel, and then it goes up to 520. So you have extra prescaler, and this one is the 2712, and it goes up to 1.25 gigahertz. So this is the highest model, and it does still look good. So I think if we clean it up a bit, it's a nice machine. Well, we see all the holes here in the top. That's probably for cooling, but I don't see holes anywhere else. So if you really put them on top of each other, you really need to put a little bit of a space in between, or the feet of the machine below, because otherwise it doesn't make too much sense. So here we have the back. I already changed this to 240 because it's a multi-voltage system. You probably switch the transformer, but the voltage here is quite high. So instead of 220 we have 230, and if it's a sunny day, because a lot of people have solar panels, it goes up to 235 or even higher. So it's more safe to put it on 240, so I did that. We have here the piloter, that is the external reference. You can switch that. It's quite heavy. You can switch it internal or external, and then you have also a frequency extern, and I think you can put there a frequency between 0 and 50 megahertz, and then you can calculate with that frequency, or your reference by that frequency. The pilot, the external reference, is 5 megahertz in this case, so it's not 1 like in the Marconi, it's not 10 like all the modern equipment, but it is 5. Okay, well that was very easy to open. One screw in the back, then you just slide the panel out backwards, so no problems there. The noise comes from the IEEE connector or printer connector, and I tried to bend the pin and I broke it. But I'm very lucky, nothing is connected to that pin, so I'm good. Here, let me show you. It was this pin, and because during the shipping it just jumped around, so I tried to bend it back, but yeah, there is nothing, so that is okay. So I can just put it back where it came from. And it came from here. Okay, that seems to be good. The caps are quite old. This one is a little bit bulky. This one also. So probably no problem to replace these, but first we check if it works. I'm also not gonna do it if they work. I'm a bit lazy in that sense. Or I could say, oh, I like to keep it as original as possible. Here we have the prescaler, so it indeed has one. Okay, I turn it around. Here we have the prescaler. Goes to C channel, goes in here, and then goes into the board. The ICs are on sockets, which is great. And we have the oscillator here. I found out you have different oscillators because I did so on a French forum. I saw someone who replaced his oscillator because it was completely off, and he really had a huge one. So I checked in the manual, and it turns out there are 3 types of oscillators available: the 2529, 2528, and the 2527. And you see the accuracy just goes up. So this one is less bulky as the one that I saw. So it could be that that one is this one is a little bit less precise, but have a look. I'm trying to zoom in, but I can't get the angle right with the camera. But it is indeed the lowest model, the 2529. But there is an adjustment screw in the side. So if it's a little bit off, we can try to get it a little bit better. So I think it's probably safe to switch it on now. The manual, it really took me some time to find, because usually you just look and then it will pop up in 30 seconds. You have a proper manual or service manual, and or you don't find it at all. But here I just found bits and pieces, until I came up on a French forum. There, well, I need to create an account, but then I could download it. So thank you guys. I can leave the link to your forum. I saw that there are several options available. There is a preamplifier. This one doesn't have it because it should be between the C channel here, the input, and the prescaler, and I didn't see that box there. So this one only has the prescaler. It has dispositif de montage en rack. So there is a rack mount. Well, it is here, I see. It has some ears, some handles, and there is an to program and for transcription. So I'm not sure. I do have the program, but I see that connector in the back, the IEEE. I'm not sure if we can really program with that, or it only transcripts. But there is a connector here. It says both program, remote, transcript. So I'm not sure. There is something there, and it was connected. So it looks, most of the options are there. That's nice. So let's power it on. Well, I did put the power on, but I didn't switch it on. It's only connected now to the main power. And you see here already the TH. And I did have a look, and it means that the thermostat is switched on. So probably it is heating now the oscillator. Or it at least tell me, well, if you use it now, it is not at the right temperature yet. So we can switch it on, and let's see what happens. Whoa, a lot of noise happens, but it is in test mode, and yeah, it's blinking. It is in test. Function. Okay, we can step to. Oh, it makes sense. Oh, it's very nice. C channel. Well, back to test. We can put here the gate times. Quite cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 digits. Well, even though it's all French, it makes sense. The comptage, so which calculations, the computing needs to be done. Over what time? The function, it almost says function. cat I think is triggering, because we have here a manual and extern. Here I see the triggering, fast, the gate blinking fast. If I put it to external, nothing happens. And if I do manual, you see also the gate. So this is trigger. This is just the level, I would think. And auto, DC coupled, AC coupled, upwards, downwards, 50 ohms or 1 mega ohm impedance, and 1 or 30, probably attenuator. Separate channels or combined. Well, same one here, it's just a copy of the other one. And the C channel is just a C channel, there is nothing to set. Well, it's now in test mode. The temperature is still on, so I'm not sure how long that takes. I think we are now 2 minutes maybe. So let's try to remember that. And I put it to the A channel, and let's see if we measure 10 MHz, how close we are. Just put it in my distribution amplifier right there. And it indeed is measuring. Let's try if we can find some more digits. Maybe we can even do more digits. Yes, we can. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 digits. If we do 10 seconds, do we have an extra, or is it only taking longer? Well, the 10 seconds only takes longer. It is not an extra digit, so in that sense you can also do 1 second. And then we have the result a bit faster. So the A channel works. I think the B channel is only to compare, because then I need to combine maybe. No, that is just like with those with the HPs, with the channels that it is just used to compare. And there is also a phase option. Maybe you can see the phase difference between the two of them. I need to read how that works. You can see it is a little bit off, but also the thermostatic is still on. So at some point it should switch off, or it doesn't have a thermostatic, this one, because it was the most simple oscillator, but it was a big block. So okay, does the other input work? Let me get my little oscillator right here. The SG1, 0 dB. No, that's good enough, I think. C channel. Yes, the C channel works. Look at that. 190, of course, still a little bit off, because the main pilot is off. Well, it should go a little bit higher. So $590, $590, $990. Let's see. Yeah. $1090. $1190. Yes. Does it do $1290? Yes, it does. Okay, it goes a little bit higher. 13. Yeah. Well, let's go to the whole numbers. 1400. 15, and we are still at 0 dB. 16. No. So it actually does 1.5 instead of 1.25. It does 1.5. So while the oscillator is still heating, at least I think it is, because the TH is still on, so But I like to play a little bit with the external reference. And as I said, this one doesn't have 10 as the new equipment, and it doesn't have 1 like the old equipment, but it has 5. And luckily I have this F-Dish5 here. I will zoom in on that. Here is my F-Dish5, and this is a distribution amplifier, but instead of only doing 10, it has 2 channels for 10, 2 channels for 5, 2 channels for 1, and then we have 100K and also on 1 pulse per second. And this is connected here to the GPSDO. Well, the 10s just go to my other distribution amplifiers, and the 1 goes, and this one both go to my Maconis that run on 1. But here we have a 5. So let's try if that works. So I put here the 5 MHz to put in the external, but I see we can also measure the internal oscillator, and as we see here, it's counting too high, so that is that the oscillator runs too slow. So we should be able to see that. So if I connect the back, and I connect it here, I should see, yeah, and it is indeed, it is low. And if later I use to adjust, but if I switch it over to external reference and I connect my cable, then it's probably right, or just missing 1 digit, because that is usually the case. And it is spot on. So the external reference works. And it will be the same if we measure a 10, of course, on the A channel right here. It should also be spot on, and it is. So external reference works perfect. And this temperature is still not good, it thinks. So, or the heater could also be broken, or the temperature measuring is just not good, or it is not an option in this simple oscillator. But we can adjust it. So I like to put 10 in the front. I like to measure the output, and then we can try to adjust a little bit. So I have the frequency counter here in the back that is measuring the real oscillator, and here we have the readout of the 10 MHz. And when we have this one close to 5, of course this one will be close to what it actually should be. I have here my adjustment in the oscillator, and we're just going to adjust a little bit. Okay, that took some time, but we are there. And the oscillator is just not that stable, because then we almost have it and then we don't. But I think this is as close as I can get it now. And this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so this is below the hertz. Well, I tried again, and now I've got it even closer. But now I start stop touching it. As you can see, we are now it is just a little slow, but it is 0.4 hertz. So you don't even see it back here. And if we go to the H channel on the 10, we should not see it, because that is here, this digit right here. Okay, that is interesting, because you could see that TH here was on, while the device was not switched on. And if we look at the frequency counter in the back, I will zoom in. You see here the trigger light, and it means it actually has signal, because if I take out, you see the signal is gone. But if I switch it off, and you can hear it by the sound is off. Trigger still blinking, frequency is still there. So I think it actually is still heating, and you see it is dropping and dropping and dropping. So I think I will leave it switched, and it is already more than half an hour, but You can see the oscillator is still trying to stabilize. Well, while it is still heating, I will just leave it running. This one is still 0, 0, 0, but I see the oscillator is still dropping. So I will just really wait until the light is off, or at least until the oscillator is stable. But we can have a look at these little stickers, because it has been serviced, the metrology, so it has been adjusted. Utilizer, I think that is really a repair, but this is a calibration. And it is done in 2003, and it is done in 2018. But I think I will remove the stickers, and if I have them in one piece, I will maybe keep them inside. Or, well, it's archive, I also have it now on camera. And then I will start cleaning. So what I'm doing, and it worked already with the little sticker, I'm using my SMD heat gun. I need to be careful with all the plastic knobs and stuff, but I'm just heating the sticker. And then I was able to take it out, and I can just put it back in the side, because the glue is still hot, so it's right there. So I can keep the stickers, because it is history of the device, but I don't necessarily need it in the front. So I can make it look like new. And then I just carefully try to take it out. Be careful not to melt the buttons. Let's see if we can make a start. But this is just a careful process. And meanwhile the oscillator is almost stable, but the light is still on. So after a good cleaning, it really looks amazing. You can even see my reflections in the display. And the frequency is near spot on, and we are here below the hertzes, as you can see in the frequency counter in the back. And well, even on the, let's see, on the C channel where we have 1000 megahertz. So I like how shiny the orange is and the black. I almost got it back to new. So that's it, Schlumberger 2712, almost full options. I like it. It has the racket, it has the pre-scaler, the highest one, the 1.25. It actually goes up to 1.5 as we tested. And yeah, it really looks very nice. If you, by the way, not that familiar with the brand Schlumberger, maybe you know the brand Solartron. I know they make really nice voltage meter, like 8.5 digits and stuff. Schlumberger owned that company for about 20 years before they sold it again. So they really, so they do know their way around in the business of measuring equipment. So nice to have it here.